Welcome everyone, guys. Today we are going to investigate just a little question about authentication and authorization inside the .NET. Basically, we are going to discuss all remote authentications and Google Auth in particular. And the question basically is why we cannot use Google Auth without cookies. And since I'm working at Microsoft, we will even ask the guys who really developed this authentication in AspNet core repo and got the real answers from them. So stay with me. If we try to add Google to your application, .NET Core application to the backend, you most probably go to MSDN, which was changed to Learn Microsoft Com. Doesn't matter much for now. And this is the basically tutorial how we can add Google Auth into your application. And if you go to the code sample, you can see AddCookies for some reason. And nobody explains you why do you need it at all. Because AddGoogle authentication adds all the middlewares, handlers and stuff like that, but under hood, and you could check this in my article about the internals of Google authorization inside the .NET Core. But basically, under hood, Google authorization works pretty simple. It just emits OAuth flow and OpenID Connect flow. It gets the tokens and exchanges this token to get user claims. That's it. And why do we need cookies here at all? Why we couldn't just emit OAuth flow each time you enter your private endpoint, this endpoint with authorized attribute? No answer. I didn't find anything. So I started investigation and I know the answer right now. So let's go to my article that addresses this question. And basically the reason why we cannot remove add cookie is because whenever you add any remote authorization scheme, you should add another one sign-in scheme. And those ones should be different. So if you remove add cookies here, let's go to AspNet Core and check what will happen. Basically, let's start with Google Handler. For sure, it's the entry point of your Google authorization for sure. Okay, if we go to Google Handler here, we'll see that it derives OAuth handler. Let's go to this one as well. Okay, and this one derives remote authentication handler as well. Let's go to this one. And this one should use remote authentication options as a base class. We go to those options and we go to the validate method here. And as you can see, if your current scheme is the same as sign-in scheme, you throw an exception that remote sign-in scheme cannot be self. That's it. If you remove add cookies, it will not work and you cannot understand why, because why it cannot be self, right? No answer. The answer is because it's an overhead to emit OAuth flow each time. And another question is basically you should be opaque to different OAuth providers, because some of them could add you an ability to validate access ID tokens, some of them might not. Yeah, while you're doing OAuth flow, there is a cookies preserved from authorization server from the remote side, but yeah, the developers would like to keep that on your application side, so you interact with remote authorization server as little as possible. Let's check their answers. So answer from first developer who answered me in Teams is that you can pause and check this. And also there is another thing that you actually cannot do it without cookies, even if you drop this validation. Remote authentication handler contains method which is called handle request, I think, which is actually handles the callback from OAuth server. So actually in this thing, it gets authorization code, it exchanged it for access token. It does call to Google authorization server to get the claims with this access token. It puts the claims into the ticket and into the principal identity, stuff like this. And then on line 162, it calls context.signin with sign-in scheme, which should be really different. And if this scheme is even equal to the Google default authorization scheme, This will cause a problem because Google Handler actually does not implement sign-in method at all. So it will get either recursion because context will try to resolve this sign-in scheme, or otherwise it will just throw not implement exception or something like that. So this is basically the answer. Eventually, after 1 month of investigation, after bothering 2.NET devs who live in USA, somewhere they don't know about me, got some answers. Thank you for your attention. If you would like to learn about it deeper, you might go to this article. I will leave the link in the description. Also, you might go and learn about internals of Google authorization. We will go through all those remote authorization handler, OAuth handler, Google handler. We will review all the code implemented inside it, everything that is happening under hood and stuff like that. So check the description. Also subscribe to me on Instagram and Telegram as well. Thank you for your attention and good luck.